Hello? Hello? How much? Yes, for gold. £11 8 shillings an ounce. That's for an ordinary ounce, is it? £11 8 shillings an ounce for gold. And what about platinum? That's even more valuable, isn't it? What? No, I can't hear you. Yes, but London's 800 miles away and there's a lot of sea between us. Couldn't you ask the Financial Times or someone? Yes. How much? £26 12 shillings an ounce. That's platinum, £26 12 shillings an ounce. Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you, goodbye. Yes, I thought so, and I've just been checking up. I've discovered something here which is twice as valuable as gold, ounce for ounce, and even more valuable than platinum. And you can find it here in this tiny hamlet of Baltasound on Unst, the most northerly of all the Shetland Islands. What you won't find is any of the elaborate apparatus that usually goes with producing the rare and costly. No mining machinery or clicking Geiger counters. No armed guards here. Its people, as you can see, have the independent island habit of building apart rather than huddling together. Indeed, most of this precious product is manufactured in that one house. The machinery isn't complicated. The raw material grows all over the island. But put wool and knitting needles together. Add these two ladies. And this is what you get. The world-famous gossamer shawls of the Shetland Isles. This is the luxury trade to beat all. Diamonds are peanuts and as common as dirt compared with these. There may be more than 500,000 loops in a shawl like this, and over 500 woman-hours of eye-cracking knitting. The result takes far longer to make and is softer and finer than the finest lace. The wool itself, of course, isn't quite ordinary. It grows only on the midget sheep of Shetland. And not even all the delicate fleeces of a Shetland sheep are suitable for knitting shawls. True gossamer wool is plucked by hand, not sheared, from just one part of the sheep, the neck. One shawl may need nearly 6 miles of fine thread, which adds up to a lot of sheep necks. Spinning 6 miles of candy floss isn't easy either. There are less than half a dozen spinners left in the world who can do it at all. But even after all the extra work that goes into the first stage, the spinning of this special wool, it still costs only 5 shillings a pound. The completed shawl, on the other hand, costs £28 an ounce. What makes knitting like this worth twice its weight in gold?
It's just the amount of time put into the spinning also into the knitting. And the finer the spun thread is, the more expensive it becomes. Also, we spend much more time on a very, very fine gossamer garment than on a thicker one. Therefore, it's hours and hours, weeks, months of work that goes into a real fine shawl or stole.
And how do you arrive at the exact price that you're going to charge for a particular shawl or perhaps a stole?
Well, it's just according to the thickness of the wool. This is what we call a very fine gossamer shawl. You won't get finer anywhere than this, you see. But if we get it thicker, the thicker we get it, the less expensive it becomes. Because we can do it much quicker, and it doesn't take so many stitches. So that makes it much cheaper, the thicker wool.
Well, how much would that shawl cost?
Well, this one costs about £70.
And the size?
And the size is about over a yard and 3/4.
Well, do you charge so much per yard?
No, just according to the work we put into it.
Hundreds.
And the hundreds of threads. We counted by the hundreds of threads. We shall say that 28 hundreds went into this.
Well, then how long will it take you to finish what you're knitting now on those needles?
Well, I should say this one would take about 6 weeks to do it from the start. If I was keeping at it.
All these things are so expensive. Is there really much of a market for them nowadays?
Only private orders. Just someone writes to us from the south, or maybe from the colonies, maybe from overseas, and they want to have one, and we sell it.
Do you make up these designs you're doing yourself, or do you take them from a pattern book?
They're just old Shetland traditional patterns. We're really not sure where they came from, but they've been handed down through the centuries. Some folk think perhaps they came with the Spanish Armada, but we're not sure about that.
Do you ever get a feeling after you've knitted a stole or after a few weeks that you'd like to put the garment away and never see it again?
Well, I do sometimes, but of course we know we have to finish it, and when we do get it finished, we just get a sigh of relief.
There's a traditional test of quality for the great gossamer shawls. It's a kind of Chinese puzzle. Take one shawl, area 27 square feet. Take one wedding ring, diameter less than ½ inch. Puzzle, to get the shawl through the ring. Answer, just pull. Carefully, of course. However fine the shawl, it's still a bit like treading on eggs. I calculate these knitters get rather less than 3 shillings an hour for their work, and there aren't more than a dozen of them throughout all the islands. Unst is holding evening classes to teach young girls gossamer knitting. But if it's no longer much fun for the mothers, it's unlikely to attract the daughters. If you're the fortunate owner of a rare Shetland shawl, hurry on down to the safe deposit with it. Quite soon, they're going to be even rarer.